And all right, hello and welcome. We are doing the Trino contributor call again. It is the 27th of June. Summer is definitely here. And we are just behind having the Trino contributor congregation done in the Trino Fest 2 weeks ago now, I want to say already, which is kind of crazy. Related to the Trino contributor congregation, it was a great success. Lots of people attended. If you see here on the wiki, we had all these planned topics, and then this is sort of a capture of what we talked about. I think, I'm sure I missed a bunch of things, but feel free to check that out. Lots of action items are still gonna flow out of that. We haven't gotten around to create all that. Also related, we talked about the Trino Gateway there. And we also had another Trino Gateway DevSync. So exciting news there. We're gonna have another developer that's gonna work on it quite a lot, and other companies are stepping up, including Eric mentioned that he's gonna potentially help us more. And the slide deck that we presented at the contributor congregation for Trino Gateways on the website here. You can go to the Trino Gateway website, slide deck about Trino Gateway status. That's all we had as a recap. The only other thing I wanted to mention for people that missed out on Trino Fest, the blog post is here. There's a bunch of impressions, our sponsors, obviously, thank you to them again. And all the sessions are live here with video recording on YouTube, and the slides available as well. So thank you for supplying all those. And everyone, again, thank you for presenting. It's been really great. So that's there. And last but not least, Trino Summit 2024 is planned for the 11th and 12th of December as a virtual event, and you can register. You cannot submit a sponsorship or a talk yet. We'll get to that later in July, hopefully. That is all the topics I wanted to cover, I think, but I'm gonna check. Yeah. Oh, the only other thing I wanted to talk, and that's great that Mateusz is here. We started a project called Project Swift, which continues our work or expands our work on the HTTP2 support for Trino, and specifically goes much further and works towards improving the client protocol performance with various measures. The HTTP2 support for internal communication is merged, as far as I understand, and it's is now.
No.
It's not yet merged. Okay.
Not yet merged. Yeah.
Okay, so that's coming soon then. But beyond that, there is a bunch of other things. Not sure if anyone has any questions or wants to talk about this. There's lively discussion going on. I think Mateusz, you're working on some proposal.
Yes, I'm planning to publish it next week.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's going ahead. And we also had people being confused about the client protocol stuff. This is all currently aiming to be as much as possible compatible with the existing protocol and not start a new protocol. That's a separate effort at some stage. We know we can do a lot in terms of improving the existing protocol performance.
Yeah,
so
it's not Vito, it's something like in between the
1.2
and Vito. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good.
Sorry, is the serialization format still JSON? I see it called out in the PR or the top level.
It is. It will be like pluggable, so you could implement arrow support, but it's not like in the initial like design, it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is to be able to parallelize the read.
The switching the serialization format's a bigger task and will likely be handled in the V2 protocol. The serialization brings in the issue of how do you handle serialization of types.
Yeah,
and there's no spec for that. And once we start to introduce that, then that's basically a completely different protocol. So this is basically like, can we carve off a piece without actually trying to dig into that actually much harder problem. So
Yeah, just I think it's a little maybe misleading that we're calling out JSON in the issue description if we're not going to tackle that. But yeah, I think it does make sense to leave it as a later aspect.
This just describes the current status, not what's going to be done. Right, so that's why. All right.
Sure.
That's the only two topics I had. We have a lot of follow-up work that we're going to do around hopefully improving contributions, maintainership work, and help. Like a couple of sub projects are probably incoming. We know a bunch of PRs are coming in from various partners. So all that's great news, but nothing that we can like really discuss yet because it's not material yet. The floor is basically whoever wants to ask a question. I don't think the person that filed this issue is here. So anyone else? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Hi, Brian. Good, good.
So I'm kind of curious just to know if there's anything that I can help out with, I guess. Because I'm now kind of straddling both Iceberg and Trino again. Not so beholden to focusing on all the Iceberg things, though I will be putting a significant amount of attention there in the probably upcoming weeks to finish some doc stuff. But I want to just see if there's like anything you or anybody else on the call knows of that like needs attention. I also wanted to ask about like if anybody's thought about my little thing I keep pestering David with, which was like building out the pip install engine setup. Because I think ultimately getting that from a DevX kind of perspective would be it would be really good for Trino. And also particularly if we could even get it into building it out on the Pyodide WebAssembly thing, that would be like a million times better. But I'm just happy for a pip install first. So has anybody been looking into that one in particular?
We had some discussions internally at Starburst, where at least 2 developers are interested to potentially play on it during Hack Day, but I'm not sure when that's happening. So there's no ETA or anything like that. So I don't know where it's at. David was just traveling, so I don't think he's had any time to look at it. Beyond that,
So
I don't know what status is.
I'm talking to some folks at Starburst about contract work. So if that is something that's interesting to people, I'd be happy to do that as a start now that I could actually focus on it. So I don't know. That's something maybe we can talk about directly, since it's more of a Starburst issue in terms of if that's a priority or not.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is anybody else outside of Starburst? I don't know if anybody here.
I don't think anyone actually like knows about it or whatever.
I've talked about it enough, and I see Eric's on here. I've told him about it a couple of times. I didn't know if Bloomberg's done anything like that.
But pip install what though, Brian?
What's that?
The pip install what? The Trino DB client?
Server. So handling. So I want to have the DuckDB experience for having like basically a small local Trino server, where it's pip install, and all of a sudden you have all the goodies that Trino can bring in a Python environment, and then hopefully one day actually have that run in Pyodide. Because most people in our immediate community now are fine with Docker, but I think we could grow the Trino community significantly and reach a lot more people just by word of mouth, having a DuckDB equivalent experience, DevX experience to install and just understand what Trino does. We already we're like a very small step away from getting Iceberg able to do this on Pyodide. We already are able to do everything pip install wise using PyIceberg down, and I want a Trino engine to show off on top of it. And I think that could really benefit Trino documentation, tutorials. I'm going to be building out a course, my kind of like course around Trino stuff, and having that set up would be way more beneficial. And I think people will latch on and share, and you know, it'll get a little more virality if it's that easy.
It's mostly meant to like for people to like try it out and play around with it, not for like actual full usage or so like that.
We were thinking of GitHub code spaces. Seems to be a common trend that people are going to. I don't know. You're going to embed all that Java stuff in a Python pip install?
Yeah,
that's heavyweight.
I mean, this is what I was talking to you about a while back, which was like trying to figure out how to kind of have the JDK, or you had an SDK man you suggested to me, but that was a dead end for the thing I wanted to set up. But yeah, basically something that, you know, kind of manages the effectively runs like a we've talked about it as more of like a proxy small little proxy daemon thing that checks for JDK the first time it's installed, make sure that it's there and has something to talk to, or has a local internal one maybe, and then basically just runs all of that. And if the server for whatever reason would go down, if you kill it or something like that, it would periodically, you know, the proxy would check for stuff and bring it back up. So it's effectively making a very small Docker and then just hiding it behind pip install. The only thing with Wasm is there's no JDK that we can do all the stuff with Trino yet, so that wouldn't be anything we could do right away. But we could still do a lot of cool things just in Jupyter notebooks to show off Trino, and not have to have the user really think about installing a server as part of that. They could literally just run the first query, or effectively have it pre-installed, and as you're booting up the Jupyter notebook, whatever environment, it'll automatically be starting. So I want that experience because that has become a very popular experience outside of the kind of software engineer, data engineer space that is very common for people in Trino today. But I think getting higher level people that are interested and want easy SQL stuff, especially locally, that you could do with it now, with all the stuff Jan's been building out, with the different fun like Excel connectors. You could just do the same thing with DuckDB. It's load it up really quick with a pip install, read in a local CSV file, and then spit it out into like an S3 thing or something. So I think that just opens up a lot of like fun, cool local stuff you could do. And then it also just becomes like a viral way to do cool tutorials and demos. Manfred could go wild with it. I'd go wild with it. And anybody here that wants to do blogs and stuff around it, it's a really easy way to do that.
Ryan, I would suggest as a first step, create an issue on Trino. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be done to pull this off. Like, for example, you just mentioned being able to read local files and write to wherever. So we may need a new plugins for that in Trino. The packaging, how you run the process and keep it up alive. I mean, those are different things that need to be taken care of. So
and that one would be like a lower priority, but at least, you know, doing, because you and I have talked about this a lot, like having the local file experience, but even just doing it to where you could run, and point like a local instance with a quick pip install and not knowing anything else about the installation, but then pointing that to like your S3 and another like a Postgres database, and then doing a quick run on that. That is pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think the important point is like get this dumped out of your brain into an issue.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. Related to that, we did talk at the contributor congregation about packaging, and that's definitely something I will have to still do to create a roadmap issue on that and figure out how we package Trino as a more smaller, minimal one, and then how plugins can be additionally installed, and maybe have different versions of the Docker container, because with the newer incoming connectors, the overall size of the tarball will get probably unmanageably big soon. So I still owe that creation of that. So
is there any DevRel things that I need to help with, that I could help with?
I don't know. You'd have to talk to Brian Mans on the
No, I meant
Starburst
to
side.
Oh, I mean, I meant to say in the community side though. I don't know if he does a lot of stuff still with the community or
I
not,
still
but
want to get your blog out, so we have to
yeah.
we have to follow up on that.
All right,
Separately.
happy to do that. Martine, Dane, anybody else?
Well, there's I mean, I think there's a lot of PRs and issues that are falling through the cracks. So following up on them, like changing them. Yeah.
Yep. Happy to start picking those up again then. Cool. I'll do that. I'll make that my Trino background task then, as well as making the new issue to get this brain dump out.
Well, so Manfred, I do like your packaging mention because we have the same internal problems. Meaning we've been running Trino with about 15 connectors for quite a while, but other groups just want one connector. They don't even want the rest of the connectors deployed in because they're not skilled enough to handle those all those diverse use cases that we support.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a good idea, and I can find people to work on it for you if you wanted to do that. Maybe that would help Dane get rid of the damn RPM he wants to kill.
Yeah, that's one of the goals.
Man, I was hoping I was going to be gone
Everyone
long enough
wants
for
to
that.
kill the RPM.
I don't. I'm using it, so.
I was hoping I was going to be gone long enough for that to be dead by the time I came back.
I hate you all. I'm still using it.
No, I have an approach where it can still be alive, as Mateusz also mentioned. Like we have the reproducible build, which allows you to build it even if we don't necessarily publish it anymore. Whatever, we'll have to figure that out. I will do a drain dump when I create that issue.
I mean, we talked about moving the RPM to a separate.
Yeah, that's
repo.
I have that repo already. I just have to update it and like document it properly and that kind of stuff.
RPM is reproducible as well, so you can always rebuild it from the source code. You don't need like a publish artifact.
Yeah, exactly. So all those thoughts need to be dumped into an issue and then be actions. All right, what else? Anyone? Eric, Jonas, Mateusz, or also welcome Mateusz Alcantara. You haven't joined us before. Hello.
Yeah, hello. It's my first time here. Just trying to understand the flow here. I have an open PR on Trino and just try to understand here.
Yeah, if you wanna give us the URL on the chat, then I can like open it up
sure.
and we can.
This is the PR, and it's about adding support to nested columns when declare the sort order on create table.
Okay.
I've noticed that. Let me see. I have a comment about using type util index name by ID from iceberg library, and I'm trying to use this, and I have some weird failures, test case failures about the test that's failing. It's this one.
Mateusz, actually, I'll be happy to. This will be the very first issue I'll follow up on because this is on Iceberg, and I'm I've been looking into this code recently, so I'm happy to kind of track this thing down with you unless we want to track this down now.
Yeah, would be good because I'm having some difficulty to understand how the test should be writing, you know.
The test failure that you have on this pull request is unrelated. It's a flaky one that we need to fix because it's like it's happening a lot of times. So
okay.
Yeah, we do have.
That was related with my changes.
We have been refactoring the tests a lot, but we still do have some flaky tests. Did you just look at Mateusz?
Sorry. Yeah, I was trying to look the code here because I tried to execute 2 times and it's failed. So I thought that was related with my coded changes.
Yeah, it might not be related.
Yeah, probably it's
Okay,
not
great.
related.
What's
That's-
what's the thing command that we used in Trino side to rerun? Is it git lab or I'm trying to remember, hold on. Or
No,
is
you
it
just
not?
do a force push. You can push.
But I thought that Manfred, wouldn't you be able to do as a maintainer, can't you just put like a at something or bot or other and then
I don't
run it
typically
again?
do that.
Oh, okay, got it.
You can just restore the individual job that failed.
Yeah.
I just did it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It'll probably pass. There's
Hey,
like
look at
some
that.
there's some funky dumb thing with like the files disappearing out of the test
All
environment.
right, I'll go ahead and do a review then of this one, and then I can get Amog, who is now at Databricks, and yeah, see if he'll jump in and give this a second look as well.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm happy to start getting more resources for these iceberg PRs. So.
Cool. And I think, yeah, CLA already worked. Thank you. That's cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Cool.
Cool.
I'll go ahead. Sorry about the delay there. By the way, Mateus, just feel free to reach out to the DevRel team. There's like are you in the Slack channel already?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. If you just do @ and then type DEVREL, it'll tag. Yeah, it's actually tagging us all right there. It'll tag all of us, and also on Git, you can also just tag me. It's on DataDev or on the Slack on Brian. And just let me know if there's anything you have questions about. I'm happy to help you out.
Yeah, for sure. I've left also this comment because I was trying to add another test case that actually assert that the table is sorted, but the test was failing. I've left a comment here with the test that I tried to write, and probably the issue that was causing the test to fail, because there's some parts of the test. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You took it out and so Dane just ran it now and it passed, but is that code snippet that you're showing us now currently being run in the test or no?
No, I actually not. It's my own local machine.
Okay, got it.
I can try to push to see so
yeah,
you can
go ahead and push see if it's not running locally, you saying?
Yeah, it's actually running, but I'm having the following failure on the comment, because there's some parts of the test that seems that it's not handling nested columns.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I can imagine it's okay. I'm happy to jump into this one after this call, and or maybe even now, and then once if it breaks it, at least know we have a solid all green test now. So if it breaks it, then we'll know it's because of this change. So I'll if you could just, well, I'll find it in there later. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've pushed this test case that I'm not able to make it right to my PI right now, so we can.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. I just noticed Saj is here. And he unfortunately couldn't make it for the Trino contributor congregation, which is why we didn't talk about the Trino connector. Maybe now is a good time to do that. What do you think, Saj?
Yeah, I can definitely talk about it.
Cool. So do you want to do that next? I think there's a just for everyone's.
Do you open a pull request on that, Saj, or no?
No, I haven't. I mean, I'm just wanted to verify those suggestions. So Eric made some suggestions on the dependencies, so I'm just validating on my side. But otherwise, that some reason I was able to build it without those changes on my side. So I just wanted to.
Oh, it'll build. It's a runtime problem. So.
Okay.
Yeah, bring it up and run it.
Yeah. So it will be under plugin. There is Trino.
Yeah, it's easier to give you my changes over Slack than trying to get permission to give PRs to private repos.
Oh, it's the last one.
Yeah, it is the last one.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly simple implementation. It supports multiple authentications, so you can use a regular password-based authentication with impersonation. I believe I have the OAuth token support as well. But the way the plugin works is that you will have like an account that can impersonate all the users. So you connect to the remote cluster using this service account, and then impersonate as the actual or the original user who triggered the query in the main cluster or the local cluster. And then this query will get executed in the remote cluster, and the results will be streamed back to the on-prem cluster. So it will be or the local cluster. So it has the I don't know whether I have the push down option. I think I have those choices there. So it is working pretty well for us. I work for Comcast, and it's been operational for past few years. I believe we had it since 2018, and this is doing wonders. Meaning we got a pretty good response from our end users. I mean, they are able to join data between on-prem and cloud data sets in both directions. Like users in the cloud can access on-prem data sets, and users in on-prem can access the cloud. And so
I was curious, Saj,
it's not just, yeah.
Are you guys doing so are you handling caching in any way, or is that usually small, like most of the queries end up being small enough data being passed around that egress stuff is not a concern?
Egress was a concern, but to answer your question, it is we are able to improve the push down so much that nowadays we get pretty good performance out of it. Like we are able to, even if the remote data set is large, but due to the push down, we are able to get working. It's doing wonders. Like we used
it might be worth noting that though too when we deploy that, just as a documentation piece. Just
yeah. There'll be lots of documentation that we have to fix up and like make clear on that side of things. But I think once Saj sends the PR and we get that in with the modifications from Eric, and then there's like on the original GitHub issue, Alex is also, they have a separate version that does the same thing, like a separate PR. Well, they don't have a PR, they have a separate code base. They will also look into it, and then we'll see how we contribute further. And obviously Project Swift will also help, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. I mean, so there are a bunch more improvements we did over this particular PR I submitted. So I can include it later. So I don't know whether that is relevant for today's conversation, but we actually implemented sort of like fast data transfer between these endpoints. So we improved query performance by many times by just getting the data transferred over using that fast transfer mechanism. But the Project Swift is the true answer here. I mean, that is the one going to help us in the long run. And the V2 protocol, I'm desperately looking forward to it because that, I think, going to help our use case, especially with this Trino to Trino connector.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, let us know when you're able to file that PR, and then we can start looking at it.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
I gave you a link in the Zoom here. It's another issue that we found with the Trino, meaning when you're coming through the Trino endpoint, it's not loading the remote groups for the impersonated user. So access control systems fail.
Yeah,
We have
go ahead.
Yeah, we have a commit on our on GitHub/Bloomberg for it, but the issue is still dinging around.
Yeah, just want to add to it. I mean, that I guess is a Trino issue, right? I mean, in the sense, this is something we probably need to fix no matter what.
Yep, I agree. Yeah.
Meaning, but definitely going to help with the Trino to Trino connector as well.
okay, so if there's a PR on this incoming, then that would obviously help. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
we have a commit there that,
Oh, yeah, I
that
see.
fixes it, but no, we didn't create a PR on it.
Is that something that you would be able to look at potentially, Dane, as the security specialist?
Sorry, I was answering questions on Slack. User impersonation does not always load groups.
Use case data is when you're coming in Trino connector. What's happened is the groups are not loaded for the remote user. And we have a check-in that does that. So that basically the queries fail for that particular user. You get their user is not enabled, not permission to do impersonation. Because that's how
yeah, I mean, send me a what? Oh.
I
Yeah,
will
I
have
mean,
I'll have the
just
PR in the
yeah.
Sure.
in the notes. Cool. Thank you for that update, Sash. Looking forward to see that moving forward. That's cool.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Always. Anything else, anyone? We still have a hot 9 minutes left.
If I don't know whether we discuss anything on V2. I know there was I couldn't join the Trino Contributor Summit. Is there any major action happening on V2 protocol?
Currently, the effort is around getting Project Swift going, which is on the V1 point, I don't know, 1.2 protocol towards a V2 protocol.
I would say that the V2 will be actually built upon the experience that we gather from the current work. Because like the V2 is like, there's no design for V2, so it's hard to actually like discuss something that doesn't exist yet. There are some ideas, but we don't know whether this like will bring enough benefit to actually make sense to implement V2. So once we implement the things that we are planning to, like the protocol extensions, then we will actually learn whether the V2 is needed or not.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be needed.
Also, like your experience, Sash, from what you've done with your improved load and stuff, would definitely be a useful input and help. But I think you're already working with Mateusz on some things, right?
Yeah, I mean the work I did, I can quickly mention it and see if that is the right thing to do. I was doing there is something called Chronicle Q, which is another open source project out there. and I was using that to cache data. So that what Chronicle Queue does is it doesn't use the
Is it this?
JVM. Yeah.
There's always a bell tongue.
Yeah.
Is it this one?
Yeah, but yeah, it is that guy. But
Okay.
what it does is it's using memory map to file, so it doesn't use the JVM memory directly in that fashion. So what I did is that all the data we receive from the coordinator will be dumped into the Chronicle queue and will be processed by the JDBC driver slowly, because in the current approach, it is just receive the chunk of data and they try to decode it immediately. So there will be delay. And whereas if I just keep dumping things into the Chronicle queue and then consume from there, from that memory mapped file, I was able to separate out the data transfer from decoding the JSON data. And
there was a PR like ages ago that used the simple double buffering technique, but I don't think it ever landed. I don't remember why. I brought up with David, and he said like, my memory was that he said that like the person like basically put it up and then like never came back. But the idea is that you pull down a page and then instead of processing it, you immediately in the background go and fetch the next page.
Yep.
And in most systems, that's good enough. Like you don't need a deep queue. Like deep queues have their own problems. Like, so.
Yeah. I mean, anyway,
Well,
I mean,
I mean, a deep queue is for absorbing spikes. Otherwise, I mean, if you can't decode at the rate you are downloading, then you have other problems, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna be buffering everything.
Yeah, you just need enough of a buffer to cover the latent loop
It's
of
the latency,
fetching data.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Okay, well, that's another idea for the V2 protocol work.
Yep.
Cool.
I usually just recommend people materialize their queries as Parquet files and download those things directly. That kind of does something similar.
I have if we're done, I have a quick question that is not contributor call related, but I feel like I could get done in 4 minutes to Martine and maybe even Eric Anderson here. So
sure, hang on. Before we do that, should we stop recording then?
Yeah, stop the recording because it's not related, and it'll be boring for. it's
All right, no.
Trino conference.